Today we'll be talking about Python collection, which is arrays. Now we'll be talking different way we store data in Python, and today specifically we are going to talk about lists. Now take note of whatever I'm going to be saying now. Well, it stores data in Python in four different ways. Either it is a list, it is a tuple, it is a set, or dictionary. But today we are going to talk about lists. And why do I say list is important to me? Because we are going to just talk details in list, then we are going to make those applications when we get to top sets and dictionary. Now, what is Python list? A list is used to store multiple items in a single variable. Example, level 500, you have Sterling, Nulu, Victor, Collins, Daniel, Pablo in level 500. Now you store a multiple data in a single variable. Before we were saying A equals to Sterling, B, Lulu, C, Victor, D, Irus, but today we are not going to be doing that again. We are going to be putting every data in many and call them one name and access them one by one. Another thing I want you to note is that I want you to note that a list are created using a square bracket. Anytime you have a square bracket, the system automatically recognizes you're using a list. I also want you to know that a list is ordered. It means that the item have a defined order, and that order will not change. And if you add a new item, the new item will be replaced at the end of the list. If I have 1, 2, 3 to 5, and if I want to add another number 7, it is going to be append to it. It does not replace, it doesn't mix. So it means that a list is ordered. You have to note that. And there are some of the list method that can change, but in general, the order of list will never change. I'm going to show us when we do modification. Then in terms of changeable, a list is changeable, meaning that you can change what you have in the list, you can add, you can remove after you have created the list. I can decide to remove Nulu from the beginners class after creating it. And also, a list allows duplicates. Means that
Sorry, I cannot see your screen.
I'm not sharing my screen anyway, but I'm not actually typing. I'm just like
Okay.
making an introduction on what we need to talk about lists. Yeah, I'm just making an introduction on what we're going to talk about lists. So, uh, like I said, we're going to be talking about lists, and like I said, a list can be changed, meaning that you can modify, add, or remove. And another thing is that the list allows duplicates. Means that I can have Nulu in a list and have another Nulu in the list. So I can have Collins 2 times in a list, I can have 3 in a list. But tuple doesn't work that way. If you put 3, it means it's 3. Any other thing you put, it doesn't recognize that again. That is the reason why I can call your range number in school as a tuple, because it is a unique key to you. But other things like name, somebody can answer a name, but nobody answers. You have the same range number with you, all things being equal. So that is what we are going to be talking about today. Now, what do I mean? If I want to create a list of beginners, I will just put it up. Once I put a square bracket, automatically it recognizes I am talking about beginner. So I'm going to type Nulu in the beginner. I'm going to type Pablo in the beginner. I'm going to type Collins in the beginner. I'm going to type Sterling is in the beginner. I'm going to type Blake is in the beginner. I'm also going to type Victor is in the beginner. I'm going to type Guru is also in beginner. So now this is the list of beginners. It is now a list. It is no more. I am now storing everybody's name who is in beginner as a list. So it means that this is anytime I put up this square bracket, it automatically means I am referring to a list. And if I print the beginners, which I am going to call in like this, automatically it is going to print everybody inside there. So once I call beginners, everybody come in. Before we're using A, B, Pablo, C, Collins, D, Sterling, E, Blake. We are not using that again. So we are moving into the advanced part where we put these things here, and this comes in. Like you see now, this is the list of those that are in beginners. Is that okay?
Yes.
So now another thing I want us to talk about at the beginning is that we're going to talk about list length. Now the list length use the same principle. To determine the length of a list, we use length function. To determine the length of this list I do now, use length function. How? I will do the same thing. I'll copy it, then I will go down to this down here and add the code, and then the only thing I need to put up here is to put length, and I will print the length of the beginners. And you can see here, if I run it, and you will see that the total is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, this is not an index, because if it's an index, it would have been something like Lulu as 0. This length is supposed to be 6. Take a very good note of what I'm saying, because we are going into what we will not be accepting again. So you see the length, this is 7. Now I want us to talk about another thing again, which is how many type of data can length be. Data type of list. In data type of list, a list can be an integer. A list can be a boolean. Remember, we have talked about boolean. A list can be a string. Now, what do I mean? The data I added here is a string. So, in aspect of strings, the beginners can be strings. And then this is a beginner one, which I can store as a list, can be in integer. As you can see, any number I am typing in here, it can be an integer. Now, a list can be a boolean, just like we have talked about. Once I put this, it becomes a list. I need to type it true. I need to type it false. I need to type it true. Whatever I type in there, it's automatically going to work once I put it up here, and you see all of them are lists. So if I want to print, I can print it out by using beginners, and I close it up, and I'll copy this again, then I'll go down, paste this, go down and paste this, and I will replace here with 1, and I'll also replace here with 2, and if I run the code, oh sorry, I am not in the right place, so I'm cutting it and deleting this. I'm supposed to add a code, but I added a text. So I can run this, and you see this is a list, which means the list of 1, 2, 3. Now, the reason why I have an error here is because I made a mistake. I didn't put equal. Now the error is the name beg is not defined. So if I run the code now, I'm supposed to have another this thing here, which have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you stop here. So let me add 6 here to complete it. 6, and then you see what I'm trying to show you here, that a list can be in aspect of integer, it can be in aspect of boolean, it can be in aspect of strings. So this is example of where you can store data in a list. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. Something is actually confusing me about this
Okay.
um, bullying type because so just putting true, false, true, I can call it a bullying operation. I thought it's supposed to be an operation that we give me the result is the one that is supposed to be true, false, true, not the one in the list. I don't know if the question is clear.
Now come again.
Like that means like writing, I'm asking, writing true, the way you have beginners class two, having true, false, true. Can I say this is a variable containing Boolean type, data type,
Yes.
or it's, eh, or it's supposed to be something like A is equal to 5, true or false? It will not give me true or I don't know what I'm saying, but I hope you understand.
God will help us to understand.
Beginners two Boolean data type.
Mhm. Did you understand the answer now?
Yes, by the grace of God, I do. Thank you.
Have I understand it? Thank you. Bye. All right. So we proceed again. Now, another thing I want us to talk about a bit before we go ahead is that I want to tell you that these data does not mean that it's going to be only streamlined to be only integer. I mean that the same data you have as in strings, before we were not mixing strings, and this is what I want you to note. Before we were not mixing strings and integer together, but we are missing that from here. So because we are storing them in a list, I am going to mix all of them together. So watch what I'm going to do, because we are creating a list. So I can put comma here, and I can also put comma here, and I am going to print this, and I'm not going to have an error because I can mix a data, both strings, and do you see what happened? Because I can mix all of them, different types of data, integer, boolean, and the strings together. Now, the next thing we need to talk about again before we proceed to another thing is what we call the way you can access item. Now, for you to access item in lists, now item means everything you see inside here. So you just need, remember, you need to use index. Now, this is the way you can access item in the lists. Remember what we said then, we store a data differently and call them A plus B plus C. No. Now, if we want to access any data, we are going to access it using index. Did you get the difference? Before, we declare a variable A is equal to null, B is equal to public. If we want to access B, we call print A. If we want to access null, sorry, we call print A. If we want to access Pablo, we call print B, but now we want to access whatever we have in the list using an index. What do I mean? If you are number 1 to 10 in your class, if they want to come and call you, they will just come and say, they won't need to say, call Lulu for me. You can say, call number 7 for me. Your range number is what? They say, call that number for me. So the index can pick you out from the list. So to get that, it is still the same principle by putting the list in here. If I use 1 and I run this, I'm going to have Pablo, because remember what I said here, the length is 7 because it is in the list. But Pablo here is number 1. why Nulu is 0. Pablo is 1, Nulu is 0 because of indexing. The other one, length. This one we are indexing. Now, the same principle we have talked about in our last class. If I want to access the one and go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I can't see Pablo. What I'm seeing here is Nolo now. Okay, no, okay, so you say that Nolo now in this one is 0.
Yes, sir. Nolo is 0. Look at it here.
Okay.
If I run 0 here, you will see Nolo. The second one, Nolo is 0,
Okay.
while Pablo is 1. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So if I want to access the last letter, I need to use -1 like we agree. We agree and we have confirmed that to use -1, we pick 0, which is the last value on this. Now, if I want to print a number intervals, I can use the same way. So what I'm saying is now we are accessing each of these using indexing. Now, if I want to print what is between 1 to 6, this is how I'm going to print it. The game is gradually changing and I want you to understand this perfectly. Before, we use A, B, and C to access a value, but currently we are using indexing. I want to print what is between first letter to last letter. I am using index, so that's why I put 1 to 6. I have Pablo, Collins, Sterling, Blake, and Victor. If I want to add up to this, I can even make it up to 10, and I'm going to run the same code. I'm going to get what is in between 10 as a list. This is how you can access an item inside the list. Is that okay? Alright, so we proceed a bit. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to tell you how you can check. Now, what we need to do is to check if an item is existing. So for you to check if item is existing, what do you need to do? You use the keyword in, which is what we have been using. You use the keyword in to check if an item is existing. Now, as you can see, we have this. And remember, to check this, we are going to use if, just like we talked about last time. So if I say to check if Collins exists in this item of the list, in the beginner, I want to check if Collins exists. So I can tell it to print something. I can say, yes, man, I am in here. You remember, we want to check if Collins exists. Then else, if Collins is not there, you can put it up well. Hey bro, it is not existing. Now, this is a perfect way of checking a phrase. And you see here, I want to check if Collins is there. And the answer is, yeah, man, I am in. Then if I want to check if Cheka is inside there, then I run the same code. It will tell me, hey, man, or else, try. There is something wrong here. The problem with this is I didn't put print. So if I run the code, it will tell me, hey, bro, it is not existing because inside the list there is no checker. So what does it mean? If I want to check your range number, if it is existing, I can just type your range number and know whether it is existing or not. So this is one of the reasons why if you save my number as checker on your phone and you're searching for Kingsley, you won't find it because it understands a particular type of format. So if I want to check if Nulu is existing, I put Nulu and then I run the same code and it says, hey bro, it is not existing. What if I put Nulu in small letter from the beginning? What is going to happen? It's going to tell me, hey bro, it is not existing because I didn't make a reference that you shouldn't know, because what is checking is it matching with what is here? Even though Nulu is this and I have Nulu here, so it must check to know it must correspond with what it have here to give us. So we are using if, we are using in, we are using if, and we are using else. This is the keyword we use this to find what is inside this, and that is why we were able to see if Nulu is existing. Hey man, I am in. If I want to check if tray is existing, what do I need to do? I can put up tray and I will run this code, and then it's going to say, hey man, I am in here because there is tray here. If I want to check if true is existing, I can use true and I'll run the code, and when I run it, it says, hey man, I am in here because there is true here. But if I want to put another thing, like I want to put like checker, like I give example, and I run this, it will tell me, hey man, bro, it is not existing. So this is a way you can check if item is existing or it is not existing. Alright, now we move again. Do you have any question or I can proceed?
Can you hear me?
So let's talk about changing item in the list.
I have a question.
Alright, go ahead.
Please, can you just scroll down to the second to the last? You just
Second to the last.
yeah, where you were declaring you are using an integer. So I want to know, is it because the integer is in the list that you are printing uh, these beginners as from 1 to 10 or from 1 to 6? Is it because it is being declared in the list that is bringing it out here? Is printing out? I don't know whether you really understand what my question
Is
is.
it here you are talking about?
Yes, that is what I'm talking about. Because when you want to print Nulu and it is 0, so you are using an integer to print this now. So I'm asking you, is it because you declared it before? Is it because you have declared the integer before that when you now print the end of the integer, it now prints the name
Okay,
that falls within that same number?
okay.
Is that
Before, this is how we're using our listing. This is Nulu, right?
yes.
And if I want to print B, I want to print Collins, I will say something like this. Then if I want to print C as 15, sorry, and then if I want to print 18s here now, I used to use something, I have to say print A. Then if I want to print this, I will say print B. And if I want to print another one, I will say print C. Now we are moving, we are no more in the stage of printing something like this, because if you look at this, this is why you have Nulu, Collins, and this. Now we are moving, we are advanced people. So instead of us putting all these things here, look at, see the line of code we have here. We repeat print many times. We are trying to put all these things. It's wasting our time. We decided to say no. We are bigger than that. We are going to be storing our data in the list. When we store it in the list, we will access them by indexing. And indexing means you will use a number to extract what you have inside the list. Now, we have stored this information here of different things. It can be the name, it can be a range number, it can be a phone number, it can be a coordinate you are using, it can be a point station you collected from total station. If this thing, we are going to advance where we access, we will upload CSV, we will upload a file, we will upload imagery, and we analyze it. The same thing we are doing now. So, but now all these data are stored as beginners. I assume that all these people here are beginners, to integer, to boolean, and to strings. Now, if I want to print any of them, because we are using advanced way now, which is using list, I will use indexing by picking what I want inside. Like for example, if I only want to print Blake, you see Blake here. How do I print Blake? I will go here and put Berg, and then I will index it. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Blake is 4. If I put 4 here and run this code, I should have Blake at the end of it here. So what am I talking about? We use indexing. Now, but because it is one value, it is not putting it back in the list, and it is not trying to separate them. But if I put 4 to 6 now, it means I want to print Blake and Victor. Don't add Burrow, because this thing means print from where I start to the last number, don't add me. If I run this now, it is going to put it in the list because there are two numbers now. So it's going to print Blake and Victor and not adding Burrow, because this is the formation of this is the inbuilt definition of this. So now if I want to print something from a big large list, I just use index to pick what I need, not repeating print again, but I will just pick what I need up here. If I want to print something, if I want to print all the code, I can just say print back. If I want to print from Pablo to the end, I will just put 1 and put semicolon and then run the code. Everything will come out from Pablo to the end will come out, and that is why you see this here, the last one, Pablo to the end comes out. And if I want to print whatever that is here to from the beginning to the end, I can still even put 0 or leave it like this. It will print everything that I have inside here because I stored all the data in a list and I can only access them using index. You do get the
What if you want to print in like Pablo and probably Victor?
you want to print Pablo and what?
Victor.
You want to print, we are going into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to look for a particular thing, you can call it a particular name and pick it up there. If you want to print Pablo and Victor, you can still use the index here. But remember, you are not allowed to make something like this because look at this. This is a list. It is going to have you don't slice like this. It is not a tuple. It is only tuple that can work like this. So you don't slice like this. These are the rules. One of the reasons I was making the first explanation I was making in the beginning. So we need to understand those rules because it is those rules that we can stand to do whatever we are doing. But we're going into that, how we can pick a particular thing using a particular rules or set of rules. So I believe if we run what we're doing, we should get there today. Alright, so changing, like I said, we are going to change something in the item. I want you to understand that what we're analyzing now is a data that is big. It can be in a table because very soon I will be storing information very large in the CSV file and I will ask you to import it and analyze it. When we'll be doing natural language processing, the way AI, artificial intelligence, understand that this is working, the way you type for a word in Google and it brings you whatever you need, this is just what we are doing. Because if you type Nulu on the website, on the Google, it's going to find something related to Nulu. So we'll be moving ahead, but if you don't understand these basics, you will not. This is it's just like a knowledge. When primary school they ask you to go to primary school, secondary school, why going to this? Why don't you just go straight and start studying mechanical engineering? The reason is because there are some of the rules you need to understand before jumping. That's what we're doing right now. So this is it. If you want to change a value, you want to change a particular value. So this is by just adding the value to the end of it. What do I mean? I want to change Nulu to my name because I don't like Nulu, so I want to replace Nulu with my name. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to put 0 because that is the Nulu. I am targeting Nulu. I want to remove Nulu. I want to eliminate Nulu. So I'm going to replace my name with Nulu. Now remember indexing. What are we doing? We are doing modification, changing of something in Now, if I run this code, it means I want to replace Nulu. So Nulu will go. And what will be remaining here is my name automatically. Because I use Nulu, Nulu is going to remain there. It's going to go away, and I will have this. Now, look at what happened. Replace everything, cancel it to the end. It is just going to space cancel for me. Now, but that's not what I want to tell you for now. Let's not go into that. I just want it to replace Nulu. You see, Nulu is gone. I want the same thing. I want to replace Collins. What am I supposed to do? I'll put 2 and I'll run the code, and Nulu will stand, but Collins will be replaced by cancel. This is how you can make a modification in the list. That is why I said in the beginning, when you create a list, you can modify it, because you can use index to make the modification. Please note all these little things we are saying, because we'll be going to the complex and we might be having 1 or 2 issues inside it. Now, what if I want to replace many things? I want to replace Nulu and rest of that. What am I going to do? I'm going to do the same thing. I just copy this code. That is, I want to replace many things inside there. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put it up here. I want to replace 1 to 3. That is 1 and 2. Don't replace 3. So I want to replace 2, 3. And how am I going to replace it? I'm going to put this same thing in the list again. And I want to replace cancel and check with 2 and 3, which is exactly what I'm doing now. So I put them in the list and I run them. See what will happen. It will replace the second one and the third one with cancel check, which you see it is not here. Sterling, did this answer your question? Nulu, this answer your question you asked in our last class. Did you get the point now? Because Nulu asked me, how can you replace 2 things? And Sterling was trying to ask me, how can you replace 2 things today? Go ahead.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is how you can replace 2 things
Yes.
by using.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Vic.
Go ahead.
I thought that it's this thing that was meant to be replaced. Sterling. You said 1 and 3 now. Jesus.
One is one. You know, it started from
1
zero.
0 Pablo,
Oh.
then 2 is Collins, then 3 is Sterling.
Daniel,
Sir.
it seems we will do review on index again. There is something we are missing. Can I ask you a question?
Ask.
I made this explanation on this line 5. Why is it that I'm having Blake and Victor only? Because that's where I made the explanation. Can you think?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You printed 4 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
This one started from 1, not 0.
No, because the 1 here is Pablo. You see Pablo here. This is Pablo.
Uh,
1 minus 1, 2. 1 to this, 2. Go ahead.
Pablo 1, Collins 2, Sterling 3,
Mm-hmm.
Blake 4,
Mm-hmm.
Victor 5,
Mm-hmm.
Ruru 6.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So was it not meant to be Blake and Ruru that was to be printed?
Okay.
That's supposed to come out.
All right. The explanation is this. When you are indexing, it means whatever you are indexing, the number it starts from the number, but don't include the last one. That is what it means. Start at number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sterling. That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, this is index, not length. So 0, Lulu, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is Blake. Then pick 5, which is Victor, but don't include 6. That's why Ruru is here. If I want to include Ruru, I'll put 7. Don't include. Are you the one that did your assignment last time?
Yes, sir.
And you would have understand this if you're the one who did the assignment. Because index says if you have the beginning to the end, do everything but don't include the last number. That is the meaning. That's what the index says. So the reason why I have Pablo in this thing, the reason why it is replaced 1 and 3 is because if you look at the code, 1 is Pablo, replace. 2 is Collins, replace. But Sterling started because don't include 3. Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any other question? Should I proceed?
Yeah, my sorry, my question on the replacing two things at once was not really clear to me.
Can you speak up better? I'm hearing you from far, please.
Okay, I said that the question I asked on replacing more than one thing
Mhm.
was not clear to me.
Okay, this is, I want to replace more than one thing. I replace only one thing here, right?
Yes.
But here I replace two things. Is two not more than one?
Okay.
Hmm?
It's more than it's more.
It's more than one, right?
Yeah.
Do you still have question or should I speak about it a bit?
If you can speak about it a bit, please.
Okay, so 2 is more than 1 and that is 3 is more than 2. 4 is more than 3. So anytime you want to replace thing, index it here and say equal to, you put up the total number of what you want to replace and you run it. Now if I put 1 to 3 here and I run this code here, when this says replace 3 and leave 2, what it will do is that it will pick the remaining thing and eliminate the next with 0. You see now there is no spelling because I said here replace 3 things but I put 2 things here. It will eliminate the third one, leaving Kingsley. Kingsley have replaced Pablo. You see it here. Collins have replaced Shaker. You see it here. But Blake is supposed to be here. Sterling is supposed to be here. But there is no 3 items. It will eliminate Sterling. You see there is no Sterling on this list. Now. Did you get what I'm saying? Because I said replace 3 items here, but I have 2 here. So, but if I replace the third item, which is Chuku here, and I run the code, you will see that you have Chuku here because this up one, the 3 by the right hand side, is equal to the 3 by the left hand side. Did you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Alright, sorry, phone rang. So this is what is, so you can replace more. If I want to replace more again, I can change this into 5 and then I can go here and modify this thing again to Danny Razi.
What if you don't want to replace in subs like you don't want to replace it just the way you replace maybe the things you want to replace is not like arranged like this is maybe you want to replace new, want to replace sterling, want to replace rural, something like that, like it's not in succession like the one
Yeah,
you're like from 1 to 5 or so.
we I talked about it before when I told you can work those things in top. That is why I gave the example. I made an example there where I give 2 things in bracket and I say if you put a comma here to replace because this thing is 2 is indexing. Where it can happen is when you put comma, you comma like you're trying to reference one thing to the other. So when we get to tuple, I will explain. But this is a list. you access each of them by using
Okay.
index. So if you say you want to replace a particular thing by a particular array, we are going into that so that you know what you are mapping this against this, you are mapping this against this, and you map this one against the other. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So we are talking about the next thing we are going to talk about now is aspect of inserting, which is a bit related to what we are talking about now. But the question you asked me, I am going to insert something exactly the question you asked me in that particular pattern. But like I said, we are going to use that very well when
Please,
we get to
my mentor, please, I have a question.
okay.
This one, I have a question. If these ones you are replacing, for
Mhm.
example, these beginners 1 to 5 you are replacing, what if you create another variable with it
Another variable,
and yes, from it, so
another
that the first one will not be affected? It's possible, right?
yeah, the first one is
Instead
not
of
affected. This thing, what it means, this is what it means. This thing print out have stored this data in another format. This is still here. It is
uh,
partially here because this thing is still hold, but look at the output it's giving you. I don't know
okay,
what I get what I'm trying to say. For example, in our class now, I have Nulu, but I want to replace Nulu with Kingsley. Do you see what I did? Let me say I want to replace Pablo with Kingsley. Pablo is there, but the output I'm having is different from what is inputted because I've done replacement.
so what if you want to replace Nolu
If I want
back?
to replace Nolo, I will change this particular thing you're seeing now to 4, and I will change this thing now to 0, and I will run the same code again, and Nolo will vanish.
No, what I mean is that since you exchange Kingsley with Pablo with Kingsley, what if you want to bring back Pablo? What will you do? Without touching the second code
Okay,
you already did.
you create you have to bring in another list. We are
Okay.
going to creating a new list from the existing one without
Okay,
touching
okay.
the one you have already. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll do that soon. But I want to answer Sterling question a bit. Sterling, I want to I want to only change only want to change something. I want to change your name because you're the one who asked the question. And Sterling here is 1, 2, 3. It means that Sterling is 3, right? I only want to replace Sterling with Kingsley. I don't want to touch any other thing. I just want, because you asked the question, I want to replace you only. I don't want to touch any other thing. This is how I can replace Sterling. What is not happening? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think there's a number 3 in this
Yeah,
question.
it is in there. So you are understanding it now. I'm the one who made the mistake. So I want to replace the Kingsley, like I want to make a displacement and replace you with that, so I can displace that particular listing like in number. That is, I want to insert something in number, but Sterling will still be there. So we are going to where I will replace Sterling and Sterling will not be there, but I want to make an insert. I want to replace your position. You are number 3, but I want to take your position. This is what I can do using insert. I want to take over Lulu position. I'll put 0. Now, what am I saying? I have modified this. This does not change, but I have taken over Lulu's position by using insert.
Okay, so it still maintains the Nulu,
It
just
still
that it shifts
maintains
it to
Nulu, but
another.
I have to take her position. So Nulu
Okay,
is not in the position of 0 again, but in the
0.
position of 1.
Okay,
So you use this way to make a replacement position. Anybody want to replace? change it like that, and that automatically work. Is that okay?
Yes, it is.
Now, this is a different thing. Who remember the meaning of append?
Append.
Did any of us remember the meaning of append?
Append is it should be something close to overwrite or
I
Yes.
think
like
append to add.
Okay. That is the perfect way. Is what you need to do is to add. So you append is a built-in function. So if I want to add Kingsley, so what I want to do on this code is that I just wanted to just append Kingsley. So if I append Kingsley, it means don't change any position, put it at the back. By default, append is supposed to go to the back, and that is why Kingsley is at the back. Now, what does it mean? I have a new list. I want to add one person in again. What do I need? I need to append.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'll answer my question.
What's the problem?
No, I said this one has actually answered the question I wanted to ask you.
Okay. So using append, you can add up a list. Because example, if I give you a list of something, I say, oh, please, can you kindly append? What if you say king, for example? It means if you run this code, if you are trying to make an append, it is going to say this takes exactly one argument. Do you see here? Because you want to add two things at the same time. So it is telling you list append takes exactly one argument, but you give two. So this is an error. So what you need to do is, because of this, just knows that you're supposed to add one thing at the back, and by default, it is going to go at the back because you are appending, you are adding to something. As you're pressing it, you append to it. So if you have money in the bank, you want to deposit money, this is the formula that works in. It append it doesn't replace it. These are gradually the rules. All those things you see that would use our everyday life, this is just how they are created. The phone you are using, the phone you are pressing, you are trying to type in number, what you are doing is appending. My phone number is 080. What you did there, what is happening on that under there is you are appending to what you are creating already. So this is just like example of what I'm saying. As you are typing in the number, you are appending to it. So this is what happens. So when you append, it goes back and stays there. That is append. Now, another way to make what we call this thing is what we call extend. Now, I am going to copy two code to explain what I'm saying up here. So let me go back to the existing code we have, and I'm going to copy beg1 and beg2. Talk about extend. Now, if you go to code 1 and 2, for us to talk about extend, I have beg1, I have beg2. So if I want to extend these two lists to merge them as one, so only thing I need to do is to call the one dot extend it. Extend is a built-in function. You can see it here. Dot extend it. When you extend it with beg1 here. And then when you go to the end of it and print the code, you should have, if you now print beg, because what you extend it is to beg1, if you print beg, you should have all the listing attached to it. Now, this is nulu down to ruru, and it added true or false, because as you can see, it's supposed to be beg1. I put beg2. So beg1 supposed to be this. So 1, 2, I can beg1, which is begin as 1. I now extend beginner with beginner 1, and it comes at the back of it. This is how you can make extend. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
So the next thing we are going to talk about, we are talking about storing data. So we have talked about, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I think somebody raised his hand. You can talk.
What
Okay.
did you? Okay.
Is it that the when you're using the appending that is only limited to one?
Yes. Append, add one to something. Append, add one to something. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Append, add something to something. This is append. So it is, you can see it here. It is append. It's add something to something. So it is a built-in function, and this is the way it works. Peg append object to the end of the list. Append object to the end of the list. So every built-in function have a way you will understand it. Like now, I want to talk about extend. As you can see here, dot extend here. And once I'm typing, if it is a built-in function, I can hover over it. It says extend list by appending elements, not one. It is many now. Appending elements. Each of these things you see here is an element. So it appends elements from this. It appends elements. The other one append to the end. Look at what I'm saying. Look at the definition. Look at what I have in append. Append says to the end of the list. List, not element. End of the list. Did you get it two different meaning?
The second one.
The second one,
Mm.
that is
Yes.
extend. This is extend. Extend appending. That is, you append it to it. You append elements,
Yeah.
meaning you append.
Now,
This is an element in the whole. This is an element. This is an item.
now
You get
in
it
this
different.
case now,
Okay.
if you are taking a record of students that register in a higher institution per hour or per time, which of these is used? Is it the append
If you're
or
doing what?
assuming you are taking a data, assuming this
Okay.
is a database,
Mm-hmm.
and you are taking a record of students that register within per hour or per day,
Yeah.
which one do you use?
It
Is
is
it the
it is
append?
appending because as you are adding, it is adding again. It's appending to it.
Okay.
But when you want to merge two people in 200 level and 300 level, you are extending. You get a different.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So now we are going to remove. Remove is, you can see here, this is remove. And remove, like we know, remove the first of the value. Raise value it is not present, but this is the first one we are going to use. Remove the first occurrence of the value. Now, like we all know, I don't like Nulu, and I want to remove Nulu. I want to remove Nulu. And now you see here, if I print the whole list, which is BEG, and run the same code, you see that it is going to remove it. Now, what if I have two Nulu inside the list, and I will run it? Let me make a bit separation, and then I run it. What will happen? It is going to say invalid syntax because I made a mistake here. So I'm going to run this because I have two Nulu. You see here, Pablo, Nulu Pablo Pool, because it removed the first one. Now I run again. It is still the same thing. This is what it is here. can see it. So it remove null because it's the first element. If I want to remove Pablo, I'll just type Pablo, and then I'll be able to remove Pablo because I don't like Pablo. I'll remove Pablo. Did you get that now?
So now, using this and replace, there's a time you talked about replace.
Yeah, the replace
Use
replace it, but this one remove it. You see now that Pablo, if I remove Nulo, the length of this list is, if you want to know the length of this list, for example, look at the length. You already know how we print the length. If you want to know the length of this list, you will see that it is 7. But when I use remove, when this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But because I have removed Nulu, it is telling me 7.
okay.
Did you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is just a little explanation I am going
How
to.
about how about if you want to remove the multiple null?
If I want to do what?
Remove the two null at once.
2 Nulu at the same time, because
Yeah.
that's why I want you to understand the meaning of lists. It can be changeable. When we go to tuple, you will understand that Nulu and Nulu cannot exist at the same time. Problem will start. Is that okay?
I don't think you got my question.
Yeah, I got your question. You said, what if I want to remove Nulu, the 2 Nulu at the same time? Is that not
Yeah.
what you said? I want to remove this
Yes.
Nulu and this Nulu. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that this cannot automatically, it's noticed that you are talking about the first one. We are going into how you can remove everything here. But remember, one of the reasons why I put up something here is that I made these things like this, and I put it up, and I tried to tell you. It says remove the first occurrence of the value. So if you want to remove everything that have to do with Nulu, we are going into that on how we can remove everything about Nulu.
All right.
But just note that it removed the first occurrence. That's what I want you to note. It only removed the first occurrence, which is the first thing it sees is what it removed, which is pick up the first occurrence and take it out. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
What of remove zero instead of using string Ulu? What if we use the the bracket for list and put zero instead? Will you remove Nulu?
You're talking about
What
popping it up like this and then running it.
is zero you remove?
Okay, you want to
Okay.
remove
It did
zero?
not,
No,
it did not work
it
now.
can't work because it is an issue. It's not a type. It's a built-in function does not use that type of method. It won't work.
Okay, okay.
So it ought to be, there is a built-in function. So when they are trying to change it, it's not going to work that way. So it ought to be what it's supposed to be because you are removing an item in the list. Our time is really running fast. I just wish there's a way we can finish up this, and because I want us to revise this thing very well. And if we can't finish it up, though I'm almost done a bit. This is how we can remove something from a list. Now, Nulu, I want to tell you, answer your question now, because the built-in function for build doesn't work that way. But we are going to use pop, which is to pop out something. What is pop? Let us visualize what pop means. So I'm going to put beg.pop. So I am going to go here to load it. It says it remove and return the item at the default. You get it at index default. Like this, index 1. This is the way you can use it. So what it means is that we want to remove Nulu because it's still Nulu that I don't like. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pop up Nulu, and Nulu is going to go. and return the rest of the item into normal. Do you see the difference? This is when you call,
Yes,
use remove. When you use pop, you use index. You understand the two different?
what I was asking for.
Okay, so you
Yes.
pop it up when there is a difference between pop and you want to make these things. I want you to understand three things: pop, delete, and remove. That is one thing is that why I say this, and this is one of the most important class for me, because when we'll be doing something more, we are going to be suffering something many things. For example, if I give you, if you have a big data, which you know that there is an error of about 5 seconds, how are you going to remove in about 100,000 pages of paper? Or for those of us who have actually acquired GPS data of a call station, and you see if you open it is more than 1,200 pages, and if you want to filter out one particular, how are you going to do that? This is what I want you to understand. So we have used remove, we have used pop, but we want to talk about the last one now, which is called what we call delete. Now in deleting, I'm still going to use the code we copy and I'm going to paste it up here. Now in delete, we use it in different ways. To make a delete of a particular thing, you use a list, but we are going to use beg, and you say beg, and you call the list name, let's say one, in this format. So for you to delete it, you call the list name and you run the code, and that is going to remove the one for you. This is delete. I'm going to put up 0 because I don't like null, and I'm going to run the code, and you see null is gone. What if I say delete from here 0 to the end? What will happen? The list will become empty. What if I want to delete between Pablo, which is 1, to Collins? I need to put 4, and I will run it, and then the whole Pablo ring will be gone. Is that okay? Do we have any question on this?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
With this same format, what
Okay.
if you remove 0 and 3? Let's see how it goes.
This is 0 to 3. I'm going to take out 1. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to run away because 0, 1, 2, except 3. So I'm supposed to have between 0 and from Collins up, because except that particular one, everything stands in. Are you happy about it?
Yes, sir.
So if you are not happy, I can return it back to 0. Now, another thing I just want us to talk about a bit is, what if I want to delete everything in the list? I will just do this, and then there is nothing. BEG is not defined, because do you know why? Who can give me the reason why this is not defined?
There is no dot.
Pablo,
Yeah.
can you tell me the reason?
Um, for the distance to work, you have to specify the length.
Hmm?
From where to where you want to delete.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to specify the limit for it before it runs for the beg for the
Okay.
beginners. So no. You add the square brackets. The, yes,
Okay. Um,
the square bracket.
I have to put it the square bracket,
Yes, then specify
the
the
range.
range you add the length of what you want to delete. Maybe 1 to something, or
Okay.
just want to delete all you want.
You all try,
That's all.
but You all try, but scientifically, is not correct. The reason is this: when I say delete this, when you delete your picture from your phone and it's not in recycle bin, will you delete the picture again? Will you still see the picture again?
No.
Yes.
That is the answer. So I deleted the entire beginners and I still want to print it out. It's not possible. You get the answer now.
Yeah.
Did you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, here I specify the range, meaning there is something still remaining inside there. It is just like me drinking my bottle of Coke and expect that I should finish the bottle of Coke and expect that I should drink more again. From where? I don't get what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
What I mean is this: if I give you 1,000 naira, I have 1,000 naira in my entire life, and I give you 1,000 naira, and I'm expecting to have 1,000 naira in my pocket. Is that possible? No, because that's the only thing I have. So I've deleted the entire beginners, and I still ask you to print out the beginner. It's not possible because that is not what you have. Is that okay? All right. First, to run it a bit quick because we have overstayed our time, and I think we will stop here, and maybe we'll schedule another class where we just need to complete what we have because I know some of us are missing. But I want just to talk about clear. A clear is used to remove all elements that you have inside. Just clear everything you have inside. And to put up the clear, it goes in this one. Clear it. There's a difference between deleting it and you clear it. So this clear and return empty is trying to tell you, oh, the list exists, but it is now empty. You use clear to clear, but still retain what you have inside. Now, a quick one, we can look inside this thing, inside the list. And to look inside the list, you use for, like we have used before, for A in the beginners, as you see here, print beginners, and this is the result. Sorry, I made a mistake because the indentation error. This is what it's supposed to do, and if you run this now, it's going to look like this. But hope this is not a problem. We have done this before, so it is not a problem for us, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the same way it is if you still want to like work if you still want to print in, this is how you can loop through it using index. If you want to loop through using index, these are what you can do, which is you can use for A in the beginners that now you are supposed to put it in the range. So you use range. We have talked about range before, and you put up this and you call the link you want to open up now, and you close it up with double brackets like this, 1 2 3, and that is closed up, and you put up your this thing here. So in this way, if you print the beginner, it is going to look through row for all this inside here. It's going to look through here. So you're saying, example, okay, I've used A, so let me use I, which is setting. So you're going to look through each of them. Now, this is printing the general distance for you, which is exactly this code you see here is the same thing as what you have down. Print a particular range, remember to put your index where you can see print I or 1. If you print I, because I use for I inside here, I'm going to have access to what we have. Nulu,
Yes, sir.
there is a day you asked me this type of question,
Yes.
and this answered the question.
Yes.
So this is the way you can look through each of them, and don't worry about getting all of them out. So what if I put one here? What answer will I have? Nulu,
If you put one is Pablo, you will have.
I will have Pablo. That's very, very great. Did you get why it happened like that? Daniel,
Sir,
what answer will I have if I print this?
you will have Nulu.
Nolo? Why will
Yeah.
we have Nolo? It seems you have not.
So
I know the reason why I asked you this question. Remember the list itself plus this. Then Sterling, please, what will I get if I print this?
Let me just quickly ask a question. Why is this normally this one?
Let's Sterling, please answer first before Nulu ask her question.
Okay. This is supposed to print the entire.
Great. When you wake up in the morning, go to the shop in front of your distance and drink one bottle of Coke. I'm coming to pay. That's great. Nulu, you can ask your question.
Okay, so my question is that why is it that it's printing this thing repeatedly? This like I know it's to print from Pablo and Nulu for the first one, but why is it printing it plenty times?
You missed our class before. That is why. Is that okay?
Like okay.
It's okay, right?
No, it's not okay, I beg.
Because you missed our class before. The reason is
Like
this.
it's
A Python
okay.
is an interpreter, not a compiler. So what happens is when you say print this, what it will do is that it will print Nulu for the first time. It will go back again. Because you say for I in the range, for I, it will go back again and say Nulu for the second time. It have done for it is Nulu against Nulu, Nulu against Pablo, Nulu against Nulu, Nulu against Collins, Nulu against it will finish that. That is the first line. It will go back to the second line. Pablo against Nulu, Pablo against Pablo, Pablo against Nulu. It will look the same way. It will do if you check this, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did you get the point?
Yes, yes, yes. I truly
Because
been in class.
because you miss
The
our
same way
class.
with
That is why
Sorry, forgive me.
it works like that. And then I am going just to talk about while loop. Then next time, just while loop only, please. I know you are um, college, but just give me 2 minutes. Let me talk about while loop, and we are done. Now, what I
I
want
know
you
that
to
we
know
are
a
talking.
bit is that if you want to talk about while loop, if you say why, we are going to talk about while loop as a topic. I want to start with 0 here, but I want to say something like because I started with 0, I want to use now while this particular code, which is I, is less than 0. Let's say it is less than 0, or but let me make it with the length of what we have. let's make it with the length of the Pablo, the length of the beginning from Lulu to Lulu, and then we now take it that it is going to print. This is how we can access it to use while. So we print back and we put it in the list, which is the I, which is less than 0, or which is I that is less than 0. After that, we can say that I, which we declare, is equals to I plus 1. Now, if you run this code, this ought to print Lulu. This is the same code as this code. What is the code again? The same code as the code I've run out. The same code as this first code. This is for loop. Lulu, this is while loop. Same result. Did you get that?
Didn't get this part.
But one good thing about while loop is this. Let me explain something. Let me explain the reason for the 0. I'm saying here I is equals to 0, meaning the beginning. But while I is less than the length of the beginners, print I. And I is equals to I plus 1, meaning that print from Lulu, append, put Pablo, print again Lulu, print Collins, print Sterling. That now, if I change this thing that I want it to start, if I run the same code, this is not going to be the same thing again because Lulu is 2. This is 1, 2. It will start from 2. If I want to print this thing from Blake, I will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll put 6 here. It will start the printing from Blake. That is 5. Blake is number 5 in the list, not 6. It will start printing from Blake. Did you get the point now? Hello?
Yeah, but your first explanation is where we. That's your first explanation. When
Okay,
you
my
said
first, I think, is it this? I said that
I
Lulu,
is supposed
this is when it is 0, it means I said that this I now is less than is length of the beginners, meaning that the less than what you need to check from I here is that wherever you have the length, look at the length. Remember I said the length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? The length of our list is 8, right?
Mm.
Now, but I said now that I want it to start from the length of I. I should be less than the length. So the length is like, if I put 0, means that start from the length, count, pick up the length and start from 0. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 8. That start from what? 0. Now, it means that if I run it, it will start printing from Lulu, which is 0. If I change the code to 2, it will start 1, 2. It will start printing from what? It will start printing from Lulu because this is less than the length which I added, which is 2. Now, if I start printing from 1, it will pick up from what? Pablo, because Pablo is number 1 here. That is less than 1 because I put 1 here. What is less than 1? Like in 1, from 1, less than 1, the length should not be less than 1. Anything from less than 1, ignore it, proceed to the rest. Now, if I put this 0, it means that this thing is less, so from 0, count to the end. Now, this is to print I, which we understand here. But this last one is trying to say add 1 to it. So if I want to print even number of these things, I could have just changed this and put 2. It means it's going to jump Lulu, Lulu, Sterling, and Victor. Lulu, Lulu, Sterling, and Victor. If I want to print Lulu, Collins, Victor, I will change this into it will be in 3 intervals. From the beginning, print Lulu, print Collins, print Victor. If I change it to 4, what it means, count the first 4 and start printing at that interval. You see, I have 4. I will have, this is 1, 2, 3. Remember, because this is 8, what is it going to count? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. Sterling. 1, 2, 3. It will return back again because the length is 8. That's why you see and sterling. If we change this into 5 and you continue again, what is going to happen is going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, break, and it will continue again 1, 2, 3, 4, no, because the length is 8. Matters are rising, right? Now, I forget to tell you something. We'll talk about infinite loop. If I want this thing to run non-stop, I'll put it 0, meaning print 0, start from 0, and don't stop on Earth. You see this code? If I run this code, if like leave it till tomorrow, it will keep running. This is what we call infinite loop. It's still running. You see this? It's still running. You see this? It's still running. Look at the number of hits. Look at the time it has executed. Look at it. It's still running. See? Are you seeing it? See? It's still running. It's still running. It will never stop running. This is what we call infinite loop. And when we are discussing loop, we'll talk about it because this kind of a thing causes electric. You see, the cannot stop running. I'm scrolling down, as you can see. I'm scrolling down, but because of the speed it's running, it's not going to. And this will run until it crashes. So the only way I can help remedy this situation is to find a way to go back to the beginning and see the code. If not, nothing. See, it cannot stop running. It's still running as I'm talking to you. See, it's have to continue running. So this is now a problem that all of us need to come together and resolve because it's running infinitely. So how do we stop this problem? We need to break it because you see 1 minute is running, and before you know it, it will get to 1 million. You see it's still running here because it is still printing while loop. You can see it has not stopped running. See, 1 minute 24 seconds is still running. So the only way to stop this problem, you see it's still running, pause and stop it because it's running infinitely. It can't work. So this is just what I want to tell us here, and this is where we are stopping for today. Thank you so much, and then we are going to continue